My name's Tim Thurston from Team I. I'm with Jamie Martin of Correct Careers Coaching, and today we're going to talk about video conferencing. Video conferencing is something that I'm sure we're all familiar with. We weren't at the beginning of lockdown, but prior to COVID, but of course now the impact that it's had on our daily sales lives and business lives has made a massive difference. We've not been able to see clients, we've not been able to see colleagues, but we have been able to interact with them virtually. There's several suppliers, and it's been a godsend, hasn't it, Jamie?
Yeah, since the pandemic, video conferencing, has taken off more now than ever. I mean, businesses were using it before, but now we've kind of had to embrace it. And I think it's always going to stay. Fantastic platforms out there like Zoom, Microsoft Teams, WebEx, Google Hangouts, etc. And most businesses have now just converted to going online. So, saving time and cost is a definite benefit of video conferencing. Also, myself, and I'm sure yourself included, Tim, you can get many decision makers on the video conferencing at one time from, and people around the world, where as before arranging a meeting, that always wouldn't happen. But there are a few weaknesses. It can be hard to read body language, especially in a sort of a sales pitching situation. So yeah, if we just talk about a few areas to help the listeners out there, how they can utilize video conference to their advantage. So there are a lot of webinars and networking events on video conferencing at the moment. I mean, for yourself, Tim, how do you see video conferencing impacting the way we would have done networking before?
Yeah, positively. As you said, you can get more than one person, so that's very, very positive. So it's much better than a phone call, much better than a conference call, because you can see people. Yes, there is the negative of body language. And also feedback, and my personal experience is they take an awful lot of energy, video conferencing, which is quite interesting. It's certainly more intense being on a video conference call than in a meeting, I've found, in a face-to-face meeting. But it obviously saves a lot of time in terms of travel, which therefore does encourage perhaps decision makers and busy people that may or may not have gone to a networking event to actually be present. So that's a real positive as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think it does actually encourage people to say, yeah, I'll jump on for 30 minutes, 45 minutes over video conferencing. You're more likely to gain a meeting from it. So you are developing a one-to-one relationship. My experience of being, at quite a few networking events before, I don't know if that has the same feel to being in that, actual room with people, looking at, you can get good eye contact with people, so the body language part of it there, but also being introduced by other people. I find sometimes on networking events, there is a lot of you at once, so you can see who definitely is on the call, and you could follow up with them, maybe on LinkedIn, etc. But you're not really getting that sort of, personalized interaction with them. So I think as a tip for individuals using video conferencing, if you are going to an event, a virtual event, or part of a networking group which is held, say, weekly or monthly, make sure that you do follow up and book in a one-to-one with someone, so you can still get the benefit of using video conferencing. Another area I was going to mention, for some sales roles, pitching a product. I think a product would be actually, quite more difficult over video conferencing. What's your sort of thoughts on that, Tim?
Definitely. I think going forwards, there'll be a mixture. I do think video conferencing is here to stay, and I think it will play a part in the way that we interact with our colleagues, the way we manage our people, and also the way we sell our products. But there will always be the need for face-to-face. And I think the touching and feeling of products and seeing documents, and also, as you said, reading body language, I think there will be a balance. So I think it can be used going forwards to make yourself more efficient and set things up for that final sort of set piece that you would still do face-to-face, I think.
Yeah, there are two areas there. I mean, it needs to be a part of the touch point customer experience. You can have one or two video calls to build rapport, and you can even do virtual demonstrations, and you can use, say, for example, Zoom quite interactively. You can annotate, and you can really guide people through it. Both of us have done workshops over Zoom, so they are very useful tools and technology to use. But in a product selling role, I think you'll agree, some people are kinesthetic learners, or they have different sort of they visualize things differently. So they may not actually buy necessarily over Zoom. But one area I think businesses will need to look at, as much as from a selling perspective, is that you know, we all are having to embrace it. So whether you're the customer, you have to actually kind of get yourself into the buying experience now, that actually I may need to start buying things over video conference if we're unable to meet and do it face to face. And what do you think about negotiation during a video conferencing style, Tim? Whereas that usually done in a meeting before?
Yeah, my preference is always face to face, and we've explained that in this conversation already, Jamie, in terms of body language and what have you. This is probably second favourite because it's better than just a call. But of course, we've all transacted and negotiated over the phone previously, so it is an extension of that. It is definitely better. I would prefer to do a video call than a phone call, so I think there's a place for that. And of course, there has been needs must over the last few weeks. A lot of businesses had to be done remotely. So I think it's got a place to play. And I think you hone your skills around the technology that's available.
Well, I do think, you know, certainly video conferencing isn't going to change anytime soon. And even if it was back to a bit more, you know, more face-to-face interactions due to time and cost factors, as we mentioned, and to talk to people in, you know, various locations globally, even which new ventures are being joined right now, you know, video conference will have its place. So I think there's some top tips for the listeners out there really would to be prepare yourself. You know, if you're in a sales position or you're hosting a workshop, definitely practice, definitely understand the actual conferencing tool you're using. So, you know, whether it's you can do different sort of resources or tools, make sure you know your way around it, and you may have to upgrade on certain platforms, and even check the surroundings within in the room you're hosting it from. You know, lighting and noise can have a big impact on the watchers of the video call. So, you know, it's really got to be on point, otherwise you will lose people will get distracted. You know, we only have around about an 8-second attention span, so make sure you are interacting and people can, you know, really hear you and see you. Dress smart. I would treat it as an actual business meeting, to be honest. And, you know, we mentioned body language, but you can still smile, you can still have various different types of gestures on your face and eye contact. So even the position of the camera could be important. And just really actively listen and engage, I think, with the business person or whoever you are, you know, having the video conferencing with. I would just say, when people ask me for advice, I just say treat it as a normal meeting you would do anyway. Because 93% is non-verbal communication. So, you know, making sure that you are really interacting with the person will help keep the conversation going and lead you to hopefully success.
Good points there, Jamie. And I think that particular one about facial expressions, because remember, you are on a screen and people are looking intently at you, which they're not in a face-to-face meeting. So that is amplified quite considerably. Jamie, good talking to you as ever. Some really good top tips there on video conferencing. Thanks very much.